Drama is reaching a boiling point between 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Stars Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo. Just ahead of the highly anticipated Season 9 premiere, Jasmine has taken to social media to make a series of shocking and emotional accusations against her estranged husband, including claims of alleged abuse and financial manipulation. In a fiery Instagram story, Jasmine declared, "I have no desire to continue playing the bad guy and lying just because he has to be protected and have likability for his next single life season." She went on to claim, "He's an abuser," stating that she's determined to bring the truth to light not through social media antics, but in a court of law. Jasmine also accused Gino of unfair financial treatment during their time filming the show. According to her, Gino was paid double her rate and allegedly withheld her share. "I'm not going to be made into the villain, just so fans can feel bad for Gino and support his new storyline," she added. "I will not stay silent about the abuse." Meanwhile, the Happily Ever After? Season 9 trailer is packed with jaw-dropping twists. In one revealing scene, Gino confirms he's been testing the waters in what he calls their open marriage. Sitting in a candle-lit bubble bath with another woman, he tells the cameras he's ready to move on from the heartbreak. The woman, who eerily resembles Jasmine in both appearance and voice, seductively asks, "What's it gonna take to get you naked?" Gino smirks and replies, "Probably some whiskey." Elsewhere in the trailer, tensions erupt as Jasmine confronts Gino over his new relationship. She claims he kicked her out of the house and accuses him of twisting the narrative. "You were cheating on me with Matt 4 months before I agreed to the open marriage," Gino fires back. Jasmine denies the accusation, insisting she never cheated and that Gino's mysterious new girlfriend is manipulating him. The drama peaks when Jasmine storms into a bar where Gino and his new partner are playing pool. Cameras capture the moment Jasmine approaches the woman and sneers, "Why are we bringing the W from Vegas?" The woman smirks and begins walking toward Jasmine, who warns, "Don't get close to me," before aggressively shoving her. As this toxic love triangle spirals out of control, fans are left questioning what's real and what's for ratings. Is this the final chapter of Jasmine and Gino's roller coaster romance, or just the beginning of a new, even messier season? In the most recent episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Eni Aguirre finally made her long-awaited decision about which of her partners she wants to marry, and while the choice didn't surprise me, what followed revealed deeper cracks in their relationship dynamic that have been forming for a long time. From the very beginning, the relationship between Eni and married couple Matt and Imani Jalassi has been rocky and riddled with secrets. While Matt and Imani have been involved with Eni longer than her ex, Ray, it wasn't until recently that they began to uncover just how much Eni had been keeping from them, starting with something as fundamental as her legal name. In a shocking moment, Ray revealed to Matt and Imani during a tense meeting that Eni's real name is actually Brenda, not Eni, which blindsided them both. This led to a confrontational yet necessary conversation between the couple and their girlfriend, forcing Eni to finally come clean about her identity and come out to her family, revealing that they are, in fact, in a thruple. Only after that moment of honesty did Matt and Imani feel comfortable enough to move forward with dissolving their marriage, not out of resentment, but as a legal step so that Eni could marry one of them. Since U.S. law only permits one legal spouse, the trio was faced with a difficult decision. Who would Eni legally tie the knot with? That choice, which has been hanging over them like a cloud, was finally made in the episode titled Too Late for Love. And while the answer wasn't unexpected, the emotional fallout revealed the fragility of their entire foundation. Before Eni shared her final decision, Imani opened up in a deeply emotional scene. She vulnerably expressed her long-held dream of getting married, a desire that has remained unfulfilled since she and Matt eloped over a decade ago. More than just a ceremony, this was about visibility, self-acceptance, and healing. Imani confessed in a heartfelt moment that marrying a woman was a lifelong goal for her, a way to fully embrace her sexuality after years of repression and struggle. She hoped that marrying Eni would symbolize not just love, but a triumph over the shame she once carried. Her emotional honesty made it clear this wasn't about legalities or paperwork. For Imani, this was personal. But when Eni chose to marry Matt instead, it sent shockwaves through the trio and through viewers. While I wasn't surprised by her choice, I couldn't help but feel sympathy for Imani, who seemed genuinely blindsided. Annie had repeatedly stated that she loved Amani more and claimed she was only in the relationship for her, yet the emotional connection between Matt and Annie had clearly strengthened during the group's recent trip. Even Amani noticed the shift. Throughout the episode, her confessionals hinted at discomfort and growing concern over how close her girlfriend and husband were becoming, a connection that seemed to deepen right in front of her. It also didn't help that Annie had insisted on keeping the thruple a secret from her family, something that seemed to sting Amani far more than Matt. That choice to hide her truth only deepened the feeling that Amani's relationship with Annie might not be as secure as she believed. Looking back, it feels like Annie's decision was already made long ago. The wedding might be about visas and legal logistics on the surface, but emotionally, there's more to it. Amani's reaction to the news was intense, and honestly, I can't blame her. While it's easy to brush it off as jealousy, there's more to her response than just being hurt. Amani had to hide her true self for so long, and now, in a relationship where she hoped to feel fully seen and embraced, she once again finds herself pushed to the side. Her disappointment wasn't just about not getting the ring, it was about being denied the validation and emotional security she had dreamed of. It was about being made to feel invisible again, this time not by society, but by the woman she loves. But there's also a lingering question that's hard to ignore. Is Amani really okay with being in a thruple? Because while she talks a lot about her sexuality and what this relationship means for her personal growth, she seems to visibly struggle whenever Matt and Annie share moments of intimacy. Her body language, her tone in confessionals, and the subtle resentment in her eyes suggest a woman wrestling with more than just hurt feelings, maybe even regret. Then there's the question of Amani's motives. Was her desire to marry Annie solely about love and self-fulfillment? Or was it also about securing her place in a relationship that's starting to feel unstable? Was the proposal a declaration of love or a protective move against emotional displacement? It's hard not to wonder. Of course, Annie's hesitancy to be fully transparent, especially with her own family, hasn't helped. Her selective honesty seems to signal a deeper ambivalence about the relationship, especially with Amani. If she truly saw Amani as her soulmate, wouldn't she have fought harder to make her feel seen, heard, and chosen? At the heart of it all, this situation feels far from resolved. While they're moving forward with legal processes like divorce and the K-1 visa, emotionally, this thruple is far from ready. And honestly, I think Amani, in particular, needs to do some serious soul-searching. She has to ask herself whether this kind of relationship structure, one that constantly tests her emotional boundaries, is truly what she wants. Right now, it feels like everyone's walking a tightrope, and it's unclear who's really in love with whom, or whether they're just holding on out of fear of letting go. Maybe Amani's reaction to Annie choosing Matt wasn't just about the decision itself. Maybe it was the moment she realized something she hadn't allowed herself to see until now, that she might love Annie more than she's loved back. And that's the kind of heartbreak no wedding, legal or otherwise, can fix. Jovi Dufren pushed Yara to finally admit he was right, after dropping a heartbreaking truth that could change everything in their relationship on 90 Day Fiancé. Happily ever after? Jovi from New Orleans and Yara from Ukraine are all set to make their comeback with 90 Day Fiancé. Happily ever after? Season 9. The couple met via a travel app and got married in Las Vegas. Yara welcomed baby Mila in September 2020. The couple has faced challenges, including cultural differences, balancing Jovi's demanding job with family life, trust, and communication, which they addressed on the last resort. Jovi and Yara have been together for over 7 years and married for 5, and over time, Jovi has come to realize some hard-hitting facts about their relationship. Jovi shared a post from Men's Corner on his Instagram stories that showed a picture of a man and a woman sitting next to each other in a car with the words, "The longer we're married, the more I realize that 95% of the time my husband is right." I just didn't like his tone. Jovi added his own caption that was directed at Yara when he said, "Yara Zaya, please admit." Jovi and Yara ended up being the only couple from 90 Day, the last resort season 1 who stayed together after the show. Their journey seemed to prove that couples' therapy worked. For instance, after they moved to Miami with their daughter, a decision that Yara pushed for and Jovi agreed to. The move may have added new strain, though. In May 2025, when a fan asked if his marriage was getting stronger over time, Jovi replied, "No LOL, it's gotten harder TBH. adding, "They say after 7 years things smooth out." Now it seems Jovi is starting to regret leaving Louisiana. He gave up being close to his family and friends, especially his mother, whom he often leaned on for support and parenting help. Moving to Miami not only put distance between Jovi and his support system, but also forced him to let go of things he enjoyed, like visiting strip clubs, which Yara strongly disapproved of. She also took issue with his drinking. Jovi, in turn, believes Yara tries too hard to control things and says she shouldn't force him to do things her way because, in his view, his choices are usually better. Jovi and Yara's relationship has been through rough patches, with Yara even warning him she'd go back to Ukraine with their baby if he didn't clean up his act. He got a more flexible job that doesn't keep him away from family for months. Jovi seems to want fans to know that he's the better partner because he has made bigger sacrifices. However, Jovi is also known for pranking fans, and his story could just be him teasing Yara ahead of their 90-day fiancé. Happily ever after? Come back to stir up drama. The long-awaited wedding of 90-day fiancés Aaliyah de Batista and Sean Finch was easily the most painful wedding I've witnessed in the entire franchise, which is no easy feat while many 90-day fiancé weddings have fallen victim to elements beyond the couple's control, including short timelines, tight finances, and cultural differences. Sean and Aaliyah had none of the above. Their stunning California wedding was intricately planned and attended by a large group of loved ones, including Sean's supportive mother and his beloved dog Maxwell. This made the day's disastrous turn even more awkward and at times heartbreaking. As their wedding day approached, 90-day fiancé Sean worried Aaliyah wouldn't be able to stick to their timeline, and it turns out his fears were justified. Aaliyah was meant to get ready for the 5 p.m. ceremony on the wedding venue property, but even with her friend attempting to keep her on track, Aaliyah couldn't speed up the process of doing her hair and makeup. She appeared to have no sense of urgency despite Sean and their guests waiting outside in over 100-degree heat. As the minutes ticked by, Sean became increasingly furious, and I couldn't blame him. Aaliyah finally arrived at 6:50, having kept everybody waiting for almost 2 hours. By that time, Sean had run out of patience. He approached Aaliyah with a belligerent attitude and, with no acknowledgement of how beautiful she looked, threatened to leave. Although Aaliyah was completely out of line, I couldn't help feeling sorry for her. She looked so caught off guard. Aaliyah tried to keep a brave face, but it was obvious she was humiliated and heartbroken. With their futures on the line, Sean and Aaliyah proceeded with their marriage ceremony, but Sean made no attempt to hide his anger. He ordered the officiant to rush through the process, skipping straight to the vows. The ceremony lasted mere minutes, and tensions were sky-high between Sean and Aaliyah the entire time. As they walked up the aisle as husband and wife, a guest asked if the ceremony was a whole 3 sentences, to which somebody who sounded like Sean coldly replied, "Welcome to citizenship." I can't imagine how uncomfortable the guests felt, and I had secondhand embarrassment for Sean and Aaliyah watching them throw away the opportunity to celebrate their love story. Aaliyah later admitted her disappointment and confusion over what had happened. The moment she'd dreamed of had been cut short, and she was made to feel like a burden on what should have been the happiest day of her life. Further complicating the unhappy day was an unfortunate incident involving Sean's mom, Jean. Just prior to the ceremony, Jean fell and hurt her ankle and hip. She insisted she could wait until after the wedding to go to the hospital. Sean was beside himself with worry, which I'm sure played a large role in his obnoxious behavior. During the 2 hours Aaliyah kept the guests waiting, Jean sat in the front row in excruciating pain, her leg propped up on a chair in front of her. Aaliyah's brazen tardiness was seen as a huge lack of respect for Jean, who had been so welcoming and maternal to Aaliyah. Jean's injury made the profoundly awkward day even more stressful, and it made Aaliyah's lack of consideration even more devastating. By the time dinner started, tensions were unbearable, and Sean did little to calm the storm. During an obligatory toast, he thanked his guests for coming, and then added an insult. At this point, the guests were stunned. Sean had every right to be upset, but the way he treated Aaliyah ruined the day for everybody else. He admitted during a confessional that Aaliyah's disregard for him when it truly mattered triggered concerns that she would never truly be there for him. Sean and Aaliyah's wedding day wouldn't have been so horrifying if it hadn't been so full of potential. But the 90-day fiancé couple had been through so much, and they'd orchestrated what should have been a perfect celebration of their love. With only themselves to blame for the sad turn of events, I have to wonder if Sean and Aaliyah's wedding was a sign that some problems are simply insurmountable. Are Liz and Big Ed still together? No, Liz Woods and Big Ed Brown have officially split. The couple met in 2021 at a San Diego restaurant where Liz worked. What followed was a wild, on-again, off-again relationship that lasted 3 years and included 15 breakups. They got engaged in late 2021 but never made it to the altar. By April 2024, the relationship was over for good. Who are Liz and Big Ed? Liz Woods, a single mom from San Diego, introduced as ED's girlfriend in 90 Day, The Single Life. Big Ed, born April 28, 1965, Ed is a former photographer turned TLC star. He rose to fame on 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days and now runs an online shop called This Is Big Ed. Why did they break up? Their relationship ended after one final fight. Liz claimed Ed ghosted her and called off the wedding without warning. Ed said Liz was unsupportive and he ended things to make a point. Their dramatic breakup aired in 90 Day Diaries in April 2024. Did they ever marry? No. Despite their engagement, they never walked down the aisle. Where are they now? Liz started dating Jason Zuniga in October 2023, but the relationship reportedly ended in 2025 amid cheating rumors. She's now single. Ed briefly dated Portia Raymond in 2024. He even proposed with a paperclip ring, but the engagement quickly fell apart. He's now trying to date age-appropriate women and appears on 90 Day Diaries. Quick facts. Ed was married once in 1990 and has a daughter named Tiffany. Ed and Liz broke up 15 times before calling it quits. They are both single as of 2025. Final word. Liz and Ed are not together and likely never will be again. Their drama-filled relationship kept 90 Day Fiancé fans hooked, but after 3 chaotic years, both have gone their separate ways. Since meeting Mina for the first time in 2019, and then falling in love and exploring their connection, 90 Day Fiancé star Mark had a lot of time on hand to think about their future. While he made plans to propose to her and then welcome their daughter, Maria, he still didn't seem serious about all the things he would be doing, including carrying out his fatherly duties. Since Mina and Maria arrived to live with him in New Hampshire, Mark should have had a plan to get Clayton with them as well. As they have been planning to get married and live together for quite some time, both of them should have been more serious about the entire situation. Especially for 90 Day Fiancé star Mark, he should have been more invested and dedicated to the visa and passport procedure for Clayton as well. None of them has shown maturity when it comes to handling their duties, and that resulted in Clayton being left behind in Paris, while Mina and Maria are here with Mark. It was 2019 when Mark and Mina met for the first time and felt an instant connection. From then to now, in 2025, the 90 Day Fiancé stars have had years to plan things in advance. Since Mina arrived in the U.S., Mark has shown absolutely no maturity when it comes to logistics and preparations. He knew how old Maria was when Mina arrived, and still, he didn't baby-proof his home. In the name of baby-proofing, all he did was install a gate the morning of Mina and Maria's arrival. He did no preparations, including the car seat for Maria, for which fans also criticized him. There was a single toy that he had brought for Maria, and there was no toddler bed or even a high chair, which are essential for a baby. Moreover, when they realized they would need more things for Maria, he took them to a gas station rather than a grocery store or a baby supply store. It clearly shows how unprepared Mark has been since the beginning. As for Clayton, both Mark and Mina were aware of all the things they would be required to do, starting from the passport to the visa, immigration, and more processes. But they didn't have any backup plan in place. In the end, things didn't work out in Clayton's favor, and he was left behind. Despite Mina's emotional confessions in almost every 90 Day Fiancé episode, it won't change the fact that Clayton is still stuck in Paris without a parent. It has been quite a heartbreaking storyline to follow on the TLC show. Furthermore, Mark failed to be a good mediator between his daughter Jordan and Mina. If he had been a little bit more considerate and navigated things properly, Mina and Jordan could have had a really good relationship. All these things point towards Mark and his unpreparedness for Mina's arrival and starting a new life with her, Maria, and Clayton.